All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another Genshin Impact reaction video. It is finally out. The Skirk animated short that was teased during the 5.7 special program just dropped. It is 3.5 minutes long, and this is going to be the first breadcrumbs of what we're going to get regarding Skirk, potentially her backstory, her lore, her understanding of the Abyss and sinners like Sertology, maybe even deeper understandings of the world of Teyvat that we're unaware of, the worlds beyond the stars, if she's like an alien that's not even of this world, since she seems so otherworldly with how she kind of perceives and understands things around her, and just kind of the vibe that she's been giving ever since the Fontaine Archon quest. But I said this a few weeks ago when Skirk's drip marketing initially came out, but I feel like Skirk is the beginning of the evolution of Genshin's lore and world building understandings, and where what we initially started with this game, which was the nations and the elements and the gnosis and the fatui, I really feel like we're now going to start getting into the lore of the Abyss and the sovereigns and the angels and the heavenly principles and the shades and the sinners, and like a lot of this ancient lore that kind of even predates the cataclysm of Conria, which is super exciting. This is like the stuff that I've been playing Genshin Impact for ever since we first learned about Conria during version 1.0 with like the flavor text of everything. And I'm also going to be, not only am I going to be reacting to this video, they also dropped this Solitary Warriors Skirk Tales. Typically, I don't check these out. Like, usually they kind of give some early information about the character, which is usually tied to their profile, and I'll read those afterwards. But I've been getting tagged a lot in this tweet in particular, and because Skirk is like, I want to know everything about this character, we have her story quest coming up as well, and I'm also going to get her to Friendship 6 as soon as possible so I can unlock her lore, along with like the flavor text of her weapon. I'm pulling for her and her weapon, so we're gonna get like the big shebang of everything regarding this character. I'm gonna be doing a reaction of the animated short. We're gonna run it back with an analysis, and I'm also going to read and see any like early informations of her Skirk Tales post that was made on Twitter. I'm just so excited. I really hope you guys enjoy this video. Thank you all so much for being on this Genshin journey with me. Whenever you guys have discovered me, I know a lot of people have been kind of resonating with my content over the last few weeks as we're getting into Dainsleif Archon quest, Skirk story quest, and you know, everything else prepping us for Nodcry. So thank you all so much. I really appreciate it. With all that said, let us check out this trailer and let us begin. So right off the bat, this scenery of outer space with the red in the background is crazy work. I'm already going off of the assumption that Skirk isn't even from Teyvat. She's from like outer space or some shit. Based on all of this, it's called Star Odyssey as well, which sounds like a journey through the stars. And before we start, I do want to check the description. Looking up, she could see the night sky embracing all that is. In that moment, 1,000 emotions crystallized into questions. Where hung the sun of moon? What canvas depicts the stars? The infinite universe and breadth of time questions the smallness of man. Yet it is these small species of mortality who may embark on long voyages, the power to create miracles firmly within their grasp. Interesting. So, the Lord of the Night also called humanity the creators of miracles, and so that's kind of giving the same kind of vibe. So it kind of seems like, you know, maybe humanity is destined to go beyond the stars as well. With all of that said, gamers, we are here to start the Star Odyssey animated short. 3.5 minutes. I am very excited to see where we go from here. As always, leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. We're going to be watching a reaction first, and then we're going to be running it back with an analysis. Let me make sure the closed captions are on, and we're going to be starting in 3, 2, 1, now. Space, the final frontier. Oh shit. Oh, the false sky? Oh! Sertology! Okay, wait, hold on. I'm already losing it. Into that? Those who come from beyond with the power to reshape the fate are known as Descenders! Is she a... Maybe Sertology thinks she could be a Descender. But you are not yet worthy of that name. Okay. You know what I'm wondering now? I'm kind of curious. So we know from the Perrin Harry Conria book from Fontaine, Conria used to have an orphanage, like an Outlander orphanage that would harbor people who came to Teyvat from beyond the stars. So they would basically, it would be like a gateway, and from that gateway, people would come through that gateway from beyond Teyvat, and they would house them in these like Conria orphanages in the attempts of one of them somehow being a descender. I think that's also how the twins ended up being summoned to Conria. That was back during the Crimson Moon dynasty. So I'm wondering if Sertology, I wonder if Skirk is an Outlander who ended up coming to Conria through that similar method, and that's how her and Sertology kind of became acquainted. So I assume this is Sertology talking about Descenders. Wow. And it's the false sky. So she's into that. Those who come from beyond with the power to reshape the fate of the world are known as Descenders. Shout out to Renee de Petrichor. But you are not yet worthy. So I think she's building up her strength to become a Descender. Since it is I who opened the door. Oh! Wow, she's an Outlander. She's not from Teyvat. Oh, music. Oh! She fell into from the firmament. Oh my goodness gracious. She's like the Traveler and Lumine. Oh! How long ago was this? Oh my goodness. So Farina was still the standing Archon, I think. So this is like, I think this was like when Skirk first came to Teyvat. And so this was within the last 500 years, maybe even after the Cataclysm. Bro, that shot, hold on, I gotta go back. I'm sorry, guys. This shot right here showing the curvature of Teyvat, the firmament, and like a broken piece of it right here, which allows things in and out. So Descenders probably fall into Teyvat from the firmament. Wow, this is such a sick visual. Like, it's one thing to see Mavwika punch it and then it reconstructs and fixes itself. But I assume this was Sertology's doing, opening a portion of the firmament to allow her into Teyvat. So Skirk is an alien. She's not from Teyvat either then. She's from somewhere else. It makes sense. Oh my God, that shot goes so fucking hard. Wow. Holy shit. She's literally an Outlander. And I think Sertology's trying to build her up to become a Descender, right? Because I'm sorry for constantly pausing. Like, I'm so locked in right now. You know what? I'm sorry. We're gonna watch this back. I'm gonna do one full watch through and then I'm doing the analysis already. I apologize. We're gonna watch full through and then we're gonna see what happens. Oh my God, the false sky. Into that, those who come from beyond with the power to reshape are known as Descenders. Okay, so Sertology, he knows a thing or two. Nice. Skirk is an Outlander, confirmed. You are not yet worthy, which means he's trying to build her up to become one. Since it is I who opened the door before you, you are nothing but a trespasser. And if the Heavenly Principles finds out, yeah, the arrogation of mankind ends here. It's just like Aether and Lumine. That happened with them. The music is beautiful. This shot goes so hard. Wow. And then, oh my God, this is so sick. And then you have Farina. Depending on when this takes place, like, it's huge because this could be any time in the last 500 years. I don't know if this is present day because, you know, Farina and Neuvillette have been around. If you seek a means to defeat me, walk the path I once walked. Oh. Holy shit! You have to live in the abyss. Fontaine Cinema. Holy moly. Underwater. But remember, you do not belong here. Brother! What did I tell you guys? She's going to evolve the lore. So there are other, like, confirmed livable planets. She knows Alice? Whoa! Wait, it says I'm Alice just passing through? Oh, she's in, like, I think she's in Snezhnaya right now. Oh, maybe that's Dragonspine? There's like, it's like a mountain with snow and ice. Wow. This is sick. Okay, Deshret. Dane! Wait, Dane's like Luther! I'm losing it. Is this Lyra? Right, the moonlit bamboo forest? Holy moly! Oh, I think she's training Child. You're gonna fight with both your hands today. So that's her training with Child. He mentions he's never been able to beat her, even with one hand behind her back. Wow, what a beautiful animation. And she lives in the abyss. Abyss. Which is interesting. So I wonder if she lives in the Abyss because she's an Outlander. No wonder she has like the fishtail. Wow, that's the Abyss. Holy mo, so she just fights in the Abyss her whole life. I can't wait. Confirmed Outlander. Confirmed worlds outside of... That's our drawing from the beginning of the game! The sustainer of heavenly principles. The arrogation of mankind ends here. Oh my days. Oh my goodness gracious, chat. I am speechless right now. Confirmed Outlander. There are other living inhabitable planets beyond Tevat. We probably should have already acknowledged and realized this. Aether and Lumine literally came here from somewhere else. Fanus came here from somewhere else. You know, like the dragons were from this planet. But like to just know that that's the confirmation and we're just focusing right now on Tevat as a planet. We're literally in the Hoyoverse. I mean, this was no surprise, but like to just see a character and like they pretty much just confirmed she's an Outlander. A playable Outlander besides the twins is huge. This is so peak. I'm so excited. All right, I apologize. I'm so lore-brained. I was like, I'm gonna do a reaction and then analysis, and then I started doing the analysis mid-reaction. So we are now going to rewatch, break it down bit by bit, understand and break down everything here. And then after we finish this, we are going to transition and I'm going to check out the Skirk tales. Now that she's confirmed an Outlander, she knows Alice, she knows Dainsleif, she might even know about the shit. I mean, I assume she knows about the Shades, Celestia, the Primordial one. Like, she has to know everything from Sertology. And I think Sertology's trying to build Skirk up to be a descender, because Renee de Petrichor, the absolute goat of the Narcissan Kreuz Ordo, revealed that anyone can be a descender. Their will just has to rival a world. They don't have to be from Tevat, or they can be from Tevat. It's just the amalgamation of what your will amounts to. If you're able to create a world, destroy a world, sustain a world, or protect a world. And so within those four categories, anyone could be a descender. The Primordial one is a descender. The leader of Celestia is one of them. Allegedly, Dragon King Nibelung is a descender as well. Allegedly, the Voyager woman from the artifact set, and then Aether is a descender. Renee tried to become a descender and failed. And I think Sertology is also trying to work Skirk up to be able to amount to a descender status as well. So let us rewatch this and see how everything's coming together. All right, the red of space, insane. I love this shit so much. This firmament shot goes so hard. So I'm assuming what I think this is implying, or what I think this is kind of insinuating now, is I think this first false sky break was a result of the cataclysm, potentially. Sertology breaking the firmament as a way of allowing descenders or outlanders into Tevat to help them break free from Celestia's grasp. And this was 500 years ago, and this was what initially allowed Skirk to enter and live within Tevat. Yeah, see, so she's looking upon it. Sertology comes in. Those who have come from beyond with the power to reshape the fate of the world are known as descenders. My question is, where did she come from? Did she come from a world that's also destroyed? Because Aether and Lumine's world was destroyed, and so they were looking for a new home when they settled on Tevat. Well, they didn't settle on it, they landed on Tevat, but them getting to Tevat was because their home was destroyed. So I wonder if Outlanders that come to Tevat are like Star Voyagers who are looking for a new home because their previous home was destroyed. It kind of also reminds me a little bit of Acheron, for anyone who's played Honkai Star Rail, how she kind of came into her kind of current status as like a self-annihilator. And she kind of, I don't know if she's like a fish woman or something. She has like a fish tail when she like in her bursts too, like in her, like when you use her skill and she like floats on water, she has like a tail. And so I don't know what kind of person she's clearly not human, we know that for sure, but you don't have to be human to be a descender. Dragon King Nibelung was a dragon, and he could have put, and he's alleged to be the second descender or the third descender. So You don't have to be a human to be a descender. But Sertology, and you know why? Vetterfulnir, so here's what I think. I think Vetterfulnir, as a visionary, also has the capacity to envision the future of other people's fates, not even from just Teyvat. So in Skirk's drip marketing, Vetterfulnir predicted that Sertology would take on an apprentice, and it eventually ended up being Skirk. But Skirk wasn't from Teyvat. So Vetterfulnir may have predicted Skirk's arrival to Teyvat, which allowed Sertology to plan out when he would destroy the firmament to allow her in temporarily. Because, you know, destroying the firmament opens it temporarily and then it seals it back up like what Mavuika did. So I think that's kind of the thing. I think Vetterfulnir predicted, hey, we'll have a chance of a descender showing up or an outlander showing up, right? So I think Vetterfulnir was like, I foresee the potential of an outlander coming into orbit of Teyvat around this time. And then Sertology was like, all right, bet, we're gonna try to break the firmament to allow them in. And I assume that kind of worked in favor with the cataclysm and them becoming transcendent beings and harboring the abyss and all that other stuff. You are not yet worthy of that name. Yeah. And so I think she's getting stronger as a way to fight Sertology and supersede him. And maybe defeating a sinner allows you the rival power of, or the rival status of becoming a descender. But I'm not entirely sure. This shot is immaculate, right? Bro, that's crazy how that looks. And I think when we go to Nodcry, I think Nodcry's attempt, like that giant super weapon that the Fatui are creating, I think it's meant to destroy the firmament. I'm gonna tell you, yo, mark your calendars right now, guys. It is June 12th, 2025. It is a little past midnight. I promise you, take your pictures now of Teyvat skies across the nations, because I think after Nodcry, the Fatui are going to destroy the false sky, and Teyvat sky is gonna look like this. It is going to be red, and like, Teyvat is going to enter its true phase of like seeing the world for what it actually looks like when it's not protected by the eggshell of the primordial one. I swear to God, that's my headcanon for what's going to happen in the future. But this is crazy. So we have the false sky, the firmament, basically projecting a false sky, Teyvat at the bottom. I love the contrast here. The music, beautiful as well. Visuals, God, man, I love these animated shorts. I cannot wait to learn about her lore. I'm getting her to Friendship 6 as soon as possible. I need to remember. And then this is crazy too, because, you know, Farina and Neuvillette were around upwards of 500 years ago. You know, he was the Eudix brought in by Egeria, and Farina is now the current Archon. So I think this was during her Archonship before, like, obviously. I think this is when she first came to Teyvat. And look at her. She's shooting in like a shooting star, like Aether and Lumine. So she first I wonder where she landed. She landed in the oceans of Fontaine. That's all we know. I wonder if we can find this exact location in Fontaine, because they're really good about sharing landmarks in the world with like real landmarks in like these animations. So I wonder if we can find out where like she first landed when she got to Teyvat. If you seek a means to defeat me, walk the path I once walked. So I wonder if Sertology was also trying to become a descender. And you know what's crazy about that, guys? Also, this is a beautiful shot. I love Fontaine's waters. The thing I love a lot about the concept of descenders is it seems like Conria, if you think about it too, maybe the 5 sinners were also trying to elevate themselves to descender status, because the only one that can change the fate of Teyvat is a descender. And, you know, everyone in these world quests is trying to become a descender in different ways. I even think King Deshret tried to when he brought forbidden knowledge to the world in his story. But like, I also think the 5 sinners became sinners and took on the abyss, similar to Dragon King Nibelung taking on forbidden knowledge, as a way of souping themselves up with a power that could rival Celestia, because they just want to be free. They want to break free. They want to break out of this eggshell. They want to break out of this bird cage that is Teyvat, and they just want to live their life and do their thing. And we don't really know why Celestia is keeping them under lock and key, but humans are destined for greatness. Humans are destined to be free. And when you challenge that freedom, like Venti's story quest, like Venti's entire philosophy, break it, like people are going to fight for their freedom even harder when it's taken from them. Even if it's for their own good, they need to know, they need to go through that themselves to know what's good and what isn't good for them. So I ultimately think everyone's a descender, because the descender is the key to freeing Teyvat, for better or for worse. We don't know. And maybe in hindsight, if they do free themselves, if they do take down Celestia, we'll find out it was probably a lot better to be under their rule and live in blissful ignorance than be without them and not know what's going to happen next. So I think that's what Sertologi's attempt was initially. It was to break free. God, I love this. This is so beautiful. I can't wait for this anime. And the fact that, so at this point, but remember, you do not belong here. Exactly. This is not your home. Which kind of makes me wonder. I assume her home was destroyed then. And, no wonder. She said a quote during the Fontaine Archon quest that I thought was very interesting. She said something along the lines of, it's always hard for us to communicate with humans, implying that she wasn't one. But I never kind of like looked too deeply into that, and I guess that makes sense. And so maybe she just feels like she's an alien. She doesn't fit in on the surface. So an alien fitting in the abyss, which is also otherworldly, is right at home for her, which is crazy to think about. So I don't know where she came from, if she came from a planet that was like, you know, battle-ridden, or if it's destroyed and gone, or if it was also ravaged by like the abyss or like the antimatter legion or the Honkai or whatever. Some type of force probably destroyed her home, and then she found, or Sertologi led her to Teyvat, and now this is her temporary abode, but it's not her home. And over the years, I think over the hundreds of years that she's been on Teyvat, since knowing Sertologi, she's encountered Alice, who also interacts with Outlanders like Aloy and the Traveler and stuff like that, right? King Deshret, that's super cool. Dainsleif, I was not expecting this. Dainsleif in the desert as well, right? Because the sword reflects King Deshret's mausoleum. Who taught you to wield a blade like that? Bro, if he finds out, I feel like he knows that she knows Sertologi, because she's like, oh, you fight like somebody that... The way you fight reminds me of someone. And obviously, it's one of the sinners that he's looking out for, or that he's going after. Shocking. Where are they now? Wow. And then this is her training... Like, one of those other bits is her training child in the abyss. That looks like... This looks like the... Guys, am I tripping? Is this Leah? I thought this was like the moonlit bamboo forests, which has the spirit of one of Istaroth's children, right? The Celadon mare, which is also, I think, Venti's sister, another creation of the god of time. And their spirit is supposed to live in the moonlit bamboo forest. It actually is that spirit from that story that's in that really cool Hoyo Fair animation. So that could be Venti's sister. And it looks like that's where she's at, you know, because that place has remnants of a shade. I think that's the bamboo forest. And then that's Child talking about her fighting with two hands because she's actually goated. And he needs... Bro... This is... The music is so goated. And yeah, she's just living in the abyss, fighting all of these abyssal creatures with her interesting looking, like, Leviathan tail. I cannot wait to do her story quest and read her lore. I am so excited. I'm getting her to Friendship 6 ASAP. And then it seems like she's back on the beach where things started. Because, like, it seems like there was, like, a passage of time. But that's the same drawing that Aether drew at the beginning of the game when he was talking about the story. He was telling the story to Paimon. It looks exactly the same unless she drew that, and she also has a similar encounter with the Sustainer, who I feel like deals with any Outlanders who come into Teyvat illegally or without their authority or approval. So very, very, very interesting. But yeah, I think she's been around for like the last 500 years, and now we're in the present, and she's about to interact with another Outlander, a Descender at that, something that she's been trying to become through Sertologi's efforts. I loved this, guys. This was so peak. This was absolutely goated. I'm so excited. So, that's my analysis. That's my reaction and analysis. I do want to just quickly check on these other little bits of lore. Now that I'm like, bro, I'm all in. That trailer kind of gave me like lore that I was not expecting. So now I want all of the bits that they're willing to give me until we do her quest itself. People on Twitter did want me to check this out, so we are going to briefly check this out. So we have Solitary Warrior Skirk Tales. Rumor has it that someone once witnessed her wielding a silver blade so sharp that it could cut through the night sky, but none know her true form. See, that's another thing too. You know how she uses the abyss to imitate the elements? I wonder if she's also using the abyss to imitate like what humans look like. And I wonder if she has like a true form that we haven't seen yet, because she is an alien. However, an informant reveals that what matters the most about my master is her strength. Okay, so that's from Child's perspective. Okay, that's really cool. So we have Skirk Tales. All right, so I did have to download all the images separately, so we're gonna be checking them all out here. So we have Solitary Warrior Skirk Tales. Her existence is like an unproven rumor. Oh my god. Oh, is that the Dawn Winery there? For a long time, Skirk has journeyed through Teyvat like a shadow, avoiding anything more than brief contact with others, only gathering intel when absolutely necessary. Sometimes past the stroke of midnight, a tavern goer will swear he had glimpsed her. Waving hands painted a story of a person that nobody could be sure was there. Oh, child in Paimon. It isn't until very recently that there came to be one who could claim to know her. So we've heard that. Oh, my master? She's the type to keep to herself. Okay. And she's like, there goes child, revealing all of my secrets to random people in the world. I still communicate normally with those who possess some measure of skill. She's an all right. Oh, okay. So these are like the little bits and pieces of lore. So I think this is like a voice line from child when Skirk comes out. Like, I'm sure his dialogue will be updated to include Skirk. So I usually stay away from these because I read character lore after we finish the story quest when I get my characters to Friendship 6. But because I'm hungry, I'm fiending for anything Skirk, I'm gonna just take this now. She's an all right cook. Could have been the creatures in this space tasting a little off in general, of course. We initially agreed to swing by my place after leaving. I wanted to let her try my family's homemade sausages this year. It's a real shame she couldn't make it. And the food in the Abyssal Rifts only tasted off to him because he's an ordinary human. Interesting. Okay. Well, yeah, you're like an alien human, like Aether and Lumine. Like, they're aliens technically too, even though they like can pass for human visually, but they're not even from this world. So unless humans exist in all parts of the cosmos and we're just led to believe that the humans here are also special because of Thanos, yeah, I feel like that's a possibility as well. Wow. So really cool child lore here. His family has homemade sausages. So when we go to Snezhnaya next year and we see Tusser again, and we see Tonya and his other siblings and his mom and dad, hopefully we can spend a day at Child's house and we can have some of the food and see how they live, which would be nice. All right, next page here we have, after all, what matters most about my master is her strength and the sheer arrogance she has to go with it. Oh no, I know what I said. I'm not being ironic, and I meant no insult. When we first started my training, she only needed one hand to beat me. So that's Child's perspective. We learned that in 1.1 from him. That was undoubtedly her ignorance shining through. But when facing a weak opponent, I believe that arrogance is an aesthetic unto itself. To crush them outright would be unbecoming. Yet, to feign humility only to turn the tables later on, that, dear comrade, would be far too deliberate. Okay, AKA, she does not go easy on anyone. She treats everybody the same. At least that's how I'm interpreting it. Bro, she lives for the thrill of the kill. Look at her. She's fighting in the abyss. She's just killing monsters. That's all she does in her spare time, which is crazy. Ignorance and carelessness are both dangerous things. It's good that he wants to improve rather than show off. Otherwise, I'd start worrying about finding his corpse in some strange nook or cranny. Okay. So AKA Child, my apprentice, is nothing like me. Thank God, because he'd be worse off for it. So the student is learning and in some ways surpassing the master, which is nice. And lastly, we have the last passage here. Yeah, look at all the corpses and swords. That's crazy. And about training, I don't really care how many hands I use, but I do care how many he'll have left when I'm done training him. Whoa! Is that the Abyss repairing her limbs? Wait. He still needs to live in Teyvat, so he can't make new limbs for himself with abyssal energy like I can. Wait, so those aren't her real arms and legs? And she came, didn't she come to Teyvat like this? So you're telling me Skirk has already lost her real arms and legs, and these are abyssal prosthetics that she has. That's why the gradient shifts to purple. That's crazy, brother. Yeah, look right there on her arm right there. It looks like she's like repairing her arm with the abyss. But then if you look at her whole body, both arms and both legs from like her thigh down is abyssal, and from like her shoulder down is abyssal. So she's had her arms and legs, I guess, I don't know, cut off or something. I don't know if I hope Sertology didn't do that in like training her up or something. That would be diabolical. Actually, you know what? I do want to double check. Yeah, so her limbs were already converted before she got to Tevat. So this kind of implies that the Abyss exists outside of, I mean, they kind of do, right? The whole point of Tevat was that the world was without the Abyss with the dragons, and then after the Dragon War, the firmament got cracked in Abyss, and the forbidden knowledge was allowed in because of Dragon King Nibelung. So wherever she came from, whatever home she lived in, like whatever her home was, it got destroyed by the Abyss. She probably lost her limbs, and I don't know how, but she somehow managed to harness the Abyss and create prosthetics of herself. Maybe she's had a run-in with the Abyss in her home world, potentially, but that's what I'm going with. Bro, that is crazy. So yeah, I feel like that's the case. And there she is. That's her as a little girl. So this is her life before Tevat. So she was young. She grew up somewhere else. She lived her life somewhere else. That place probably got destroyed by the Abyss, and she wandered through space and found her way to Tevat, and then Sertology and Verifulnir yoinked her to become a descender. Yeah, look at, she has like a little fin on her back, so I wonder if she's like a fish person or something. I spend most of my time training the Abyss. I need to become stronger because there's a goal I have yet to accomplish, and I think that goal is to battle and defeat Sertology. And by defeating him, that battle experience, so to speak, will allow her to ascend to descender status, to become a descender and to inherit the will and the, I guess, the accomplishments and goals of her master, of a sinner of Conria. I think that's what we're leaning towards here. Spectacular stuff, man. I am so excited. So yeah, gamers, this is going to be a pretty lengthy video when this goes up on YouTube. This is like a full in-depth analysis here, but this is absolute cinema. I said it 6 weeks ago. I'm saying it now, and I will say it in the future. Skirk is the beginning of a new chapter for this game. We got Outlander, Descender, Firmament, False Sky, Abyss, Life Beyond Tevat, like, and she's living breathing proof of that. And I hope she talks about it in her profile, that she talks about her life before Tevat, where she came from, what happened to her home, be it her profile lore or her actual story quest. I hope. And actually, now that I think about it, the guitar that she plays in like that one sequence that they showed in the special program, that actually might be like, she might be thinking of home, right? She might be playing the guitar. I thought it was like a lover or someone that she lost. She probably had a mom, a dad, maybe siblings, friends, people she cared about that died in whatever world she lived in. So it is personal to her, which is very, very interesting and something I was not expecting to get this soon for her. Yeah, I'm so excited. I'm really hyped for this this story quest. I'm obviously gonna do the Archon quest first, but I feel like Skirk's story quest is just as gripping as the Archon quest with Dainsleif now. And Lumine and the Luma Fade and this unknown girl and all of that stuff. Holy moly. I am so excited. And then on top of that, I think she's also gonna get a character teaser, a character demo, and a collected miscellany with Dainsleif commentary. So we still have a little bit more to learn about her before the patch actually drops. So those are all of my thoughts and opinions, theories, speculations. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. I have a lot of editing to do to get this video up, but I hope you guys enjoyed. As always, leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. I am so excited for the future of this game, and I will see you all in the next one. Take care.